What's up, guys? We're jumping into the second half of the Piers Nick Fuentes interview. And believe it or not, this half is actually better than the first half.
When I started my show, it started with a good faith inquiry where I was questioning a lot of these narratives. And I said, what is the answer on the other side? But what I found is that the answer was criminalized. So when you would talk about anything regarding Jews, Israel, the Holocaust, you could be in favor of the official narrative on those things. If you went against, you were banned, censored, and in some countries jailed. And so I actually haven't made up my mind on that because that's not really a matter of interest to me. And there's a lot of analysis and scholarship on both sides of the issue. And I've read both sides of the issue. And honestly, unfortunately, it's hard to judge because there's never been a debate on it. And there's never been a debate because of the stigma, because of the censorship. And I think that leads a lot of people to say, well, what do they have to hide? Because you can say on your show, well, I'm personally against Holocaust denial laws, yet they still persist. And the social consequences still persist. And I think that is the anomaly. And people have to wonder, okay, why is it that way? And what I said in that clip is the reason the Holocaust casts a long shadow is because it confers a political benefit upon organized Jewry. That is what they always fall back on. They cannot be criticized. They cannot be named. They cannot be talked about, lest there be another Holocaust. And no other tragedy is treated that way. And no other ethnic group has a get out of jail free card. Just play that. Anti-Semitism and Holocaust. You can do whatever you want and defend all your actions. That's the part that people are getting upset with. That's the problem.
I don't know any right-minded person who believes that Jewish people weaponized the Holocaust.
What? Hang on, wait a minute. He said, I don't believe any right-minded person weaponizes the Holocaust or like the idea of using anti-Semitism against people. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? He actually goes on, after saying this is the crazy part. After saying this, he actually goes on to do literally that. Watch this.
Get out of jail free or whatever you called it.
You don't know anyone that does that? That believes that?
I'm sure there are some people that do that, but it's such a ridiculous generalization.
He's about to do it.
The truth is that most Jewish people have lost relatives in the Holocaust. In fact, I want to play you two clips. One is where you talk about Adolf Hitler.
Bro, he literally does
Hitler
the
was
thing.
a pedophile and kind of a pagan. It's like, well, he was also really fucking cool. So, time to grow up. We're not children anymore. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right, boys? Am I right? Let's go. He was also really fucking cool.
Do you regret saying that?
Saying a fact? No, that's absolutely true.
You think Hitler was very fucking cool?
Yes, I do.
One of them.
And I'm tired of pretending he's not.
Here's the best part of this, okay? Piers thinks he's going to pull his old bullshit that he always does on people. It's the whole, how dare you say something like that? And then the person's going to be like, wait a minute, did what I just say, was it actually bad? Like, maybe it was. Maybe I should apologize for what I said. That's literally like Pierce's entire shtick is that, to try to do these gotcha moments. Nick's like, no, I don't give a shit about your labels. I don't care that you're calling me, an anti-Semite, a racist, an incel. Like, all of this crap means absolutely nothing to me. And Piers can't figure it out. He's like, these are all my tricks. I'm using all my wizardry and all my tricks on him. Why isn't it working?
To be honest.
This is the problem, you see. It's a bit like when you just say, I'm a racist. You're a racist who thinks Hitler's cool, but you're not anti-Semitic. If you're a Jewish person watching this, what are they thinking?
Who cares?
I'll tell you what they're thinking, because I've got a friend of mine called Danny.
No, who cares? All right. The first point there is, why do we have to look at this through the lens of what a Jewish person thinks when they watch this? You can't have an opinion that isn't approved by a Jewish person? What the
Finkelstein, who, when he heard I was interviewing you, he's a Times journalist in the UK, very eminent journalist here, and author, who wrote a book about his own family's experiences at the hands of Hitler and Stalin, because he also told Tucker Carlson that you admire Stalin. But let's just take what Danny said here.
Hi Piers, it's Stanley Finkelstein here.
God.
As you're interviewing Nick Fuentes, you might try suggesting to him that he reads my book, Hitler, Stalin, Mum and Dad. It's called Two Roads Home in the United States. Since he says he's on Team Hitler, you might like to ask him about the fact that Hitler arrested my mum, tried to starve my mum to death, did starve my grandmother to death, sent my great aunt to the gas chamber, my great uncle, my cousin.
This is what I'm talking about, okay? The man just got done telling you, like, the whole idea of anti-Semitism and how the Jews are using it is weaponized. They're weaponizing it. Piers goes, well, that's absolutely insane. I don't know anyone in their right mind that would do that. This video is literally doing that. It's doing that. They're weaponizing it against Nick Fuentes right now. They're trying to make him feel sorry by giving him all these bullshit stories. And then Nick is supposed to be like, oh, well, I guess my fifis are hurt now, and I guess I have to apologize. That is literally what you're doing, okay? You're trying to manipulate somebody and shame them with this kind of crap right here in order to get them to apologize. Yes, that is what it is. It is weaponized.
My grandmother on my father's side ended up being one out of 7 children, the only one that survived the war. So you might ask him whether he wouldn't rather be on Team Mum rather than Team Hitler. And as for celebrating Stalin's birthday, well, Stalin took my father, sent him to a state collective farm, sent my grandmother and to a state collective farm, sent my grandfather to the Gulag. You might try asking him why he doesn't celebrate Dad's birthday rather than Stalin's. It may all be a big joke to him, but he complains that he was 18 when someone tried to cancel him. Well, Stalin and Hitler arrested my mum and my dad when they were 10 years old. So perhaps he might like to reconsider his joke.
Really quick, my great-grandfather was actually sent to a Russian gulag in Siberia, okay? Stalin did that to him. And why? Because apparently he was reading a newspaper that wasn't approved. It was printed by like revolutionaries or whatever. He was reading a newspaper. He got sent to Siberia to break ice. Okay. Well, it was unfortunate. He didn't live very long. He when Stalin died, he came back, and I think he lived for 2 more years after that, which was unfortunate. But imagine that situation happening, and then me trying to do whatever I want in society, crimes or, control a person's government, do all kinds of crap. And then whenever people call me out on it, I go, hey, wait a second. My great-grandfather, he was, he was sent to a gulag and he suffered in the ice. He broke rocks and did whatnot. So I should be able to get away with whatever I'm doing because of that. Like, this is what's happening. You guys understand?
See, that's the reality of your jokes, although I haven't ascertained yet whether you are joking when you say that Hitler was very fucking cool. Are you joking, or do you actually think he was very fucking cool? The most genocidal monster of the last 150 years.
What? Oh, God. Okay, this is another thing right here. He was the worst monster of the last 150 years. That is absolutely not true. This is what I'm talking about. They have made an exception for the Jewish people that no matter what happened to them was the worst possible thing that could have happened to anyone in the whole world, right? It's absolutely insane. Stalin actually killed almost 80 million people in the Soviet Union. 80 million people, right? Not 6 million, not 10 million, not 12 million, like Hitler was, I guess, if you want to pin that on Hitler, Hitler was responsible for 12 million deaths, right? Stalin killed 80 million people. But of course, what happened to the Jews was the worst thing that could have happened, and the person who did that was the worst person that ever existed. Let's ignore everyone else. This is the reason why people are tired of this crap. It's the constant lying. It's the constant browbeating. It's the constant weaponization of all this stuff. Of course people are sick of it, and Nick actually is going to respond in a way that absolutely shuts him down, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, the thing is, my generation, we're just done with the pearl clutching.
Yeah, you might be, but then your generation hasn't gone through what Danny Finkelstein's family went through. So maybe the pearl clutching has a way to go for families whose whose family members
Oh my
were
gosh.
murdered.
Yeah, we got
Yeah, well, let them clutch their pearls. We don't give a shit about that. It doesn't have anything to do with us. So why should we be clutching pearls? It should be their concern. Let them worry about it.
all that. Me mom. Like we're, I don't even know who this person is. Why is this person talking to me? This old British guy is saying me mom got killed by Hitler.
Because
and
he doesn't
dad
find
got
it
killed
funny
by...
when you say Hitler's very fucking cool.
I don't care.
He finds
I don't care.
I know you don't care. That's fine. You don't have to care. But he does care.
Does that guy care about America? Does that guy care about me and my country and my family? No.
He cares what you, a
That's the
prominent
problem.
conservative in America, has to say about Adolf Hitler. Now, what do you mean by Hitler is very fucking cool? Because I think he's very fucking a monster.
That's a clip. I think he's very fucking a monster. Do you
I
hear
should clip
yourself?
that.
Yeah, I
I mean,
do.
can we all grow up?
I do.
Can we all grow
He
up?
murdered
That
12
is just
million
childish.
people. He murdered 12 million
Okay.
people. What is very fucking cool about that?
80 million.
Tell me.
Stalin.
The edits, it's just cool. The uniforms, the parades, it's cool as a guy. You look at World War II and it's fascinating and it's interesting and it's compelling and it's cool. And, we're just tired of saying these kinds of things. We want to talk like real people and give our honest opinions. And then we literally get an old Jewish guy from England who's going to say, oh, that's not very funny, mate. Me mom. And it's like, shut up. Like, no one is in favor of genocide. So let's just get that out of the way. We're not in favor of a Holocaust or genocide.
Do you think if half your family had been,
ago.
you think if half your family had been wiped out by very fucking cool Hitler, you'd still think he was very fucking cool? Or would you think that actually he was a despicable monster who murdered 12 million people, who targeted people because they were disabled or Jewish or Romani Gypsy or whatever it may be, and that he systematically destroyed people, incinerated them in gas chambers? Do you think that you would find it very...
Again, this is what I'm talking about. It's all the stories, the browbeating, the appeals to emotion. People are sick of it. We've been hearing this for decades now. When is it going to be over? Or are we going to be hearing this nonsense until the end of time? I mean, we're tired of this crap. In his mind, this is all like fresh, like it happened yesterday. So he's expecting like Gen Z, who absolutely gives zero shits about any of this stuff, to care. No, they don't.
Cool if your family had been through that? Or do you think you would find it very fucking disgusting? And perhaps moderate the number of times you laugh about it or want to joke about it
No.
or want to abuse someone like Danny Finkelstein, who's written incredibly powerful books about what happened to his extended family at the hands of the Nazis and your other hero, Stalin. See, my point to you, Nick Fuentes, is that in parts of this interview, you try to come across as moderate, but every now and again, the mask slips. And it slipped again here with what you say about Hitler. There's nothing very fucking cool about Hitler. We know that from history now. We know what he did. You've already conceded that he murdered at least 6 million Jews. So when you say he's very fucking cool, Jewish people watch this and go, this guy's disgusting. Why would he say this about someone who perpetrated such an evil? And what's the real answer? Why do...
Here's the thing. Hitler apparently committed some kind of Holocaust, right? And he's the most despicable man in the world. Why isn't Piers saying the same thing about Netanyahu, who is currently, in real time, as I record this, right, in 2025, committing a genocide? Why isn't anyone saying that about him? Oh, it's because he's Jewish. That's why. See, people are noticing all of these inconsistencies. We're sick of it. It ain't going to work anymore. It's over. It's over. You guys tried, pulled your crap, and you guys got pretty far, decades into it, all right? And now it's over. Gen Z saying no more.
Is it just for clicks? Is it for money? Is it just for fun? For shits and giggles? What is it? What motivates you to say something like Hitler was very fucking cool?
It's for this. It's for all of this. And the lack of self-awareness is amazing. You're a boomer. You're a 60-year-old boomer. And we've spent maybe 3 minutes on you saying, he's a really fucking monster. He incinerated people. And I'm sitting here saying it's not that serious. It's not that deep. And
Not that
what
serious.
I'm getting at.
Not that serious.
Do you want to say more about
Well, you're not
he's
a kid.
a monster?
You're not a kid yourself anymore. You're not a teenager.
I know.
Right?
I know.
You're nearly 30. to be clear.
Yeah,
okay? You're a
I
fully
know.
formed adult who has a brain, right? And at some stage, that brain is taking you off these rabbit
Is this an
warrens.
interview or is this a lecture? Can I respond to what you're saying?
I want you
in
to
full?
I want you to explain why you think it's fine to say how fucking cool Hitler is and to dismiss the very powerful 90 seconds from a British journalist who lost a lot of family members to the Nazis in such a callous, dismissive manner.
I don't think it's powerful. I think we've been hearing that our entire lives. Okay. The Schindler's List. Let's just be honest. The propaganda is over the top. We have been in America.
What about
and
the Schindler's
everywhere.
List?
Hey,
Tell me
hang on,
about
can
the
I
Schindler's
respond?
List. Well, tell me about the Schindler's List.
I'll tell you about it. We have been browbeaten as a people, as Americans, as Westerners for our entire lives. And do you know what this has done? It has taken away any sense of pride, any sense of love for our own civilization. We have been made the villain in our own story. We have been made because, well, let's just be clear. It doesn't begin and end with Hitler is a monster. This has been the political narrative, which is why we have thrown open the borders. This is a political narrative, which is why we can't be a conservative society as a whole anymore, why we can't be proud of Europeans, why we can't be proud of being Christian, because they've told us if you're too white and too proud and too Christian, it's going to lead to a Holocaust. And so my generation, our entire lives,
honestly, Nick
it's true,
Fuentes,
and that's why people like me. That's why I'm popular, because this is bullshit.
Shit. Honestly,
yeah, it's a crock. We don't want to hear any more about me, mom, and
The reason why Piers keeps interrupting him is because Nick's telling the truth, and he doesn't want that message getting out. He knows millions of people watch him, and they're going to hear this message. And what's happening is a lot of people feel this way, right? They just don't have a way of crystallizing the thoughts that they're having. They're all understanding that something is off, that white people are actually under attack in their own country. And politicians will say this all the time. White people will be the minority. All kinds of politicians will say this. There's videos out there of them saying this. This is well known. Especially the liberals, like they love it. And every time the population drops, they have a chart and they go, oh yeah, look at that. Isn't that great? We're getting one step closer to diversity, right? So he's going to sit here and say this information and crystallize the thoughts of what people have. They haven't been able to form the logic and reasoning. And what Nick is doing, what makes him so dangerous to them, is that he's crystallizing the idea for these people. And Piers, of course, he heard that. He understood that. And he keeps interrupting him so he can't get that out. It's too late anyway, because Nick talks about this stuff on his show as well. So.
Because this is bullshit.
Honestly.
Yeah, it's a crock. We don't want to hear any more about me, mom, and me, dad. That's a crock of shit.
No, listen. What you just said is a crock of shit. And you
it's
know
true.
it.
It's called the open society.
In your gut, you know it is. You weaponize this stuff.
You know.
You weaponize this stuff for money, but you know when you say something like what you just said.
I'm banned from banking. I'm banned from banking and credit cards. You know who you're talking to? I do it for money.
And by the way,
how much money you make? Your company's worth $100 million. Your company's worth $100 million. I was banned from Bank of America.
And you shouldn't
I'm banned from processing credit cards.
And you shouldn't have been.
But I am. So don't tell me I'm doing it for money.
Well, ask me my opinion about that. I'll tell you shouldn't have been. Right? I don't agree with that. What happened to you?
Then don't say I'm doing it for money, because you know that full well, and you say it's a grift.
How much money
if I wanted to be a grifter, I'd be like you, and I would go and say,
how much money are you making?
I'm making a lot of money now.
Yeah.
Now that I'm the #1 live streamer in America, because people agree with me more than they agree with you. We're tired of hearing about slavery and the Holocaust and Jim Crow. We're done hearing about that. You guys overplayed your hand.
I'm not done hearing about that.
Okay, well, your generation's on the way out, and Generation Z is coming up, and we're finished with that. We're ready to take our country back.
I've got three
we're
sons.
not listening to crying minorities anymore.
I've got 3 sons, and they don't share your views about slavery and about the Holocaust. They can have decency and compassion and humanity about some of the worst things that have happened in the last 150 years or more. They can do that, and they can also have concerned views.
They sound like girls, he said.
About issues like immigration and other issues. The two things are not mutually incompatible. You can have different views about different things. It's your lack of humanity and
See, that's the problem. It's not just about compassion, because it doesn't end there. That's what Nick just got done saying. You know, the compassion has allowed these people to radically alter our country to the detriment of white people. So, no, we're good on the compassion. They've had enough compassion, as a matter of fact, more compassion than anyone else. Where's that compassion for Palestinians that are being genocided today?
Compassion for people about things like the Holocaust, about slavery. It's that people find so contemptible. And I don't understand why you need to do that. Is it, again, I just ask you, is your motivation financial? Is your motivation for fun? What is the motivation to saying these outlandish things, which you don't need to say, and which I suspect, I don't know, I suspect a lot of it is performative. So what is the motivation?
I'm an iconoclast. The Holocaust is not my religion, and it is treated like a religion. It is treated like a religion with dogma, with blasphemy laws, and that secular religion says, and you say that's a crock of shit. It's intentional. It's called The Open Society by Karl Popper. It's by these architects of the liberal order after World War II. They got together and they said, how can we make sure that Hitler never happens? How can we make sure that totalitarianism never happens again? And they came up with the consensus, which is that we need to take down nations, religions, fathers, the authoritarian personality. We need to be empathetic and altruistic. We need to be diverse and pluralistic. And that experiment isn't working. And I'll tell you the truth. Right now, and you can laugh at this, you can scoff at this, our people are being genocided in our country. 50% of the live births in the United Kingdom and in the United States are non-white. In 100 years, my ancestors, your kids who are so empathetic and compassionate, they're going to be a minority. They're going to be a minority in maybe a Muslim country, an Indian country, an Hispanic country. And these Jewish people that are 100 years old talking about my grandparents and the Holocaust, they don't care about that. Actually, they like to see it. At the SPLC, they're literally counting down the days until whites are a minority in America. So forgive me if I don't believe them when they talk about compassion. There's a genocide going on right now. It's not against the Jews.
How many Christians are there?
In Gaza, it's against whites.
How many Christians are there in the world? Like me and
1
you.
point some billion, yeah, 2 billion.
How many Jews are there?
15 million.
Okay. So with a straight face, you're going to tell me the world is being overrun by the Jewry, by 15 million people, when there are over 1 billion Christians. There is a genocide of Christians like poor old Nick Fuentes going on at the hands of these 15 million.
It's not being overrun. It's being controlled. And you don't need, just like a dictator like Stalin was able to control the entire Soviet Union, you can have a small number of people who are very powerful, very rich, and in positions of power in various governments, which can easily be looked up, okay? None of this is crazy conspiracy talk. You can easily just look up the people in positions of power in our own country. Look them up in every Western country, okay? So yes, Pierce, stop with the bull crap. Everyone knows what's going on. It's too late. It's too late. You can't reverse this. All right. People have woken up and they're waking up more and more every day. All right. All right. So this is going to get it's longer, the interview. He goes into religion, but I'm trying to keep these videos around 20 minutes. I think we've gone over already. What I'll do is maybe I'll do a part 3. All right. All right, guys. I'll catch you in the next one.